Hey guys, so this is my first ever makeup video tutorial wise. I have never done a makeup tutorial before. I'm not a professional by any means, but my look was Easter inspired and I had a lot of requests on Instagram to do a makeup tutorial for it, so that's what I'm doing today. All the colors are inspired by Easter, from blue, purples, pinks, golds, and yellows. So definitely continue watching if that's what you're interested in. I hope you like the makeup look as much as I do and enjoy recreating it. So to start, I already have my eyebrows filled in with the Anastasia Beverly Hills Dip Brow Pomade in the color medium brown. Now I'm going to go on to the translucent eyelid primer that is by Morphe. I'm just going to put a little bit on my fingertips and then dab that into my eyelid. Afterwards, I'm gonna put a base color on, and for me, I usually use a lighter color, but I found that using Huda's Blondie setting powder for my face, I found that it worked really well for my lids as well. I'm gonna use the Jaclyn Hill JH30. It's a big fluffy brush. I kind of just put it all over the place to make it easier to blend in later with all the other colors. Now going in with the Morphe Jaclyn Hill JH34, which is also a lighter fluffy brush. It's not as fluffy as the black one I just used. I'm going to go into the top of my eyes, a little above the crease line, with the BH Cosmetics Color Festival in the color Groove, which is this middle one. I'm just going to add a little bit just to add that nice pink touch. It's not supposed to be super pigmented, it's supposed to be above the rest of the other colors. It's right under my brow bone, but above my eye crease. Using a smaller brush, which is the JH40. Well, I'm going to go in with the NYX Ultimate Professional Makeup Shadow Palette. I'm going to go in with this purple shade right on the side right here, and that's going to just stamp it along the part where I want my eyelid crease to be, which is just right below the pink that we just brought into my eyes. So the next color I'm going to go back in with that small brush that we were using with the purple on it is I'm going to go back in with Flare by Sigma, and we're going to use the purple color of Gossip, which is this color right here, which is like a deep purple, and we're going to just go right over, it's almost like a plum purple, we're going to go right over that purple that we just had, but on the outer corners, like that outer V area, we're going to go in with that purple just to make that purple a little bit more deeper. Now that we have the base of this all done with the pink, the purples, and the deeper purple, I'm going to go back in with that larger fluffy brush earlier that we had the setting powder with, and we're going to blend it out. Instead, this time, I usually use Hourglass setting powder, which is like a light translucent powder, to try to blend everything in together. I'm running really low on it, so instead I got the NYX HD Studio Photogenic setting powder, and I'm going to use that instead to try to blend it together. So when going in and blending out with the setting powder, definitely make sure to tap your brush off with all the excess setting powder. So I'm just going to use this to blend between that pink and the purple right in the inner corners to make sure that blends out a little more smoothly. So the reason I'm blending the inner corners is because on the outside edge, I do want it to look like a cut crease, but on the inside, I do want it to look soft on the inner corners, so I do try to blend as much as I can between the purple and the pink. So the next thing I'm going to do is cut out my lids with a concealer, and I'm currently using the Maybelline Instant Age Rewind, and usually I use this under my eyes to conceal everything and highlight. But because I just need a little bit of concealer to make a cut crease out of it, I'm going to use it anyways. And I'm going to use it on Jaclyn Hill's JH43, which is a square brush. And that gives me an easy precision when trying to do a cut crease. So once we're happy with the concealer as where it is for the cut crease, we're going to go in with blue on the inner corner and pink on the outer corner of the lid. And we're going to be using the NYX Ultimate palette, and we're going to be using the blue on the bottom right corner. We're going to add that into the inner corner, and then we're going to later add another blue on top of that from the BH Cosmetics palette. So I'm using a flat brush, Jaclyn Hill JH41. It's a flat brush. That's what I'm going to use to pack in the blue. And I only go halfway on the lid for the blue, because the pink is going to be on the other half of it. And because this blue isn't as pigmented as I want it to be, I'm going to go in with the BH Cosmetic Color Festival palette and use the denim color blue right there. And we're going to pack that on top of the blue that we just had the NYX Cosmetics, using the same brush. This blue is a little more sparkly and it has a little bit more of a pigment to it, making it stand out and pop a little bit more. It does have a little bit of fallout, so I recommend doing your foundation afterwards. Now that I have the blue set into my inner corners, I'm going to use a smaller brush that is small and pointed, like this, which is the Jaclyn Hill JH38 brush, and I'm going to use that to stamp the color of the pink into the outer corners where the concealer was set at. And I'm going to be using the second pink from the NYX Cosmetics palette to stamp into the outer corner of my lids. Now that we have the pink and the blue set into our eyes, I'm going to go back in with the pointed black brush that's a little more skinny, which was the JH40 brush that we used with the purple earlier. And I'm going to go back in with that purple from NYX Ultimate Cosmetics, which was the second row down, and we're going to use that purple right here. And we're going to go right back on top of where we had the line earlier, but because the blue has basically blurred out the purple, I want to bring that purple back in a little. Just right above the blue. Lastly, I'm going to go back with that first brush we used for the pink, which was the JH34 brush. And we're going to use that groove again, just right above that, to clean up the purple a little and blend that out. I know I look absolutely crazy right now, but once we blend everything and add eyeliner, everything goes and falls into place. Alright, now going in with a big fluffy brush again, which was the JH30, and we're going to go in with that NYX loose leaf setting powder again, and just use this to blend upwards in circular motions. Alrighty, now that we have that blended out and like making a statement, we're gonna add eyeliner. And I like to line my eye with the NYX Epic Ink Liner, which is just a pencil brush, almost a brush pen. And I usually line from the inside of my eyes, like inner corner, outwards, and then make the wing afterwards. And if you mess up your eyeliner, that's okay because we will clean it up afterwards with concealer, or else you can always clean it up with a makeup remover wipe. pretty happy with my eyeliner now. I'm just going to have to go back in a bit here and clean it up a little. Alright, I'm pretty happy with that, and now I'm going to go back in, and the trick to it is using that concealer brush that I used earlier to make that cut crease. I'm going to go back in with it using the same corrector. I'm going to put a little bit on my brush and make it sharper. And then I'm just going to use my finger to warm it up and blend it out a little more. I'm going to go in with my Cetaphil Rich Hydrating Cream. I'm just going to put a little bit onto my face and just moisturize my face. I'm going to use the Maybelline Baby Skin Instant Pore Eraser, which is just a primer. And I'm just using a little bit on my finger and massaging that into my face. So for foundation, I use the Fenty Beauty foundation. I'm in the color 280. I'm not sure if you can see that. And I use the Morphe Jaclyn Hill brush JH03, which is a fluffy brush that is great for foundation. I'll put a little bit onto the brush first. So this color is a little bit more orangey than I normally am. I'm filming this right after winter and I haven't gone anywhere, so I haven't actually had any sun. I love the full coverage look. I used to use Too Faced for full coverage, and then I just recently switched over to Fenty to try it out, and I absolutely love both of them. So I'm just adding a little bit more because I haven't got my forehead yet. So I'm going to stipple that in. I'm going to go back in with that concealer I was using to do my eyelids earlier and then clean up my eyeliner. I'm going to go back in with that same one and I'm going to do it above the nose bridge. And I usually do a little dot right in the front of my nose. And then I do a little bit in the inner corner. Not a lot, just enough. And then I usually do a little bit on the side of the wing, just to brighten it up. I also do a little bit above near the forehead area and a little bit below the chin. And then any parts you need to reconceal, if you have acne scars or acne that you want to conceal, use the same thing. I'm going to go in with the Jaclyn Hill JH08, which is this brush. It's made for like concealer and foundation. It's like a smaller one to go into the inner corners. And I usually use this and like blend out the concealer by stippling it into my skin and dragging where I need to go. And I use this concealer because it's bought at Target. It's cheap. It does the job, and your girl's a broke bitch. So that's why I got this concealer. It does the same thing. I love it. I'm a mixture of using drugstore makeup and both high-end makeup brands as well, as long as it does a job. Now that I'm happy with that, the next step I'm going to do is using the similar product to this concealer. I'm going to use a darker shade to contour the rest of my face. I'm using Instant Age Rewind, and I'm using the color 148 Hazelnut. So where I usually apply this is along the side of my nose where I would usually contour it already, a little bit below my lip, and along the cheekbone area, underneath the cheekbones, and a little bit above the forehead area, just to minimize the 5 head there. And then I do a little bit, just a very little, underneath the jawline to add a little bit of a shadow. I'm going to use a damp beauty blender and blend that into my skin. Dab, do not smear, dab. And I usually like to dab upward. Don't forget to blend under the lips area if you do put the contour underneath your lip. I've literally forgotten to blend that one time and I looked ridiculous. So I'm using the NYX Professional Studio Photogenic Finishing Powder. And I'm going to use this one under the eyes. To do so, I'm going to be using the JH07. I usually press that into my face with a little bit of the setting powder. It gives a nice blurring effect underneath your eyes. I usually go in with the Huda Beauty afterwards underneath your contour line to clean it up in the color Blondie, where it's a little darker but it's not as bright as my eyes. So it keeps my eyes much more bright and lit. I'm going to go in with the Too Faced bronzer. I think this is chocolate. I've used it so much that I've rubbed off the back of it, so I don't actually know what color it is. But I usually go in and go over where I just contoured it with a little bit more of the bronzer to fluff it out and make it look a little bit more airbrushed. Go in with the JH05 brush, which is like a fluffy brush right here. I don't know if you can see that. I usually go over underneath the contour of my cheekbones, a little bit along my forehead, and then instead of using this for my nose, I use a different one. So when I go in with the bronzer, I always brush circular motion upwards. I'm just going to go on the temples a little on both sides. I'll go just a very minimal, like very, very lightly underneath the jawline. Because I don't want to look like I have a beard, I just want to make my jaw look contoured and defined. So the next thing I do is go in with the JH10 brush, which is a flat brush. Just follow that nose contour line to define it a little bit more. And another trick I do is going back in with the brush I use to add the bronzer to my cheekbones. I will pinch this brush to make it a really fluffy brush and just follow along that nose contour to basically diffuse the color. Going back in with that fluffy brush, I'm going to reset that top of my nose. So after going in with the bronzer, I'm going to go in with a blush. And I'm using the YSL Heart of Light. I usually go up here with a blush, but because I wanted that bunny look for Easter, I decided to go along the nose area similar to an e-girl. Using the blush brush JH04, give it some more color and pinkness under the eyes and on top of the nose area. Because it's a little lighter, I like this blush just above the nose usually. I'll go in with another blush that is a little bit more pigmented. I'm not really sure what brand this is, but I got it somewhere and it was KK on it, on top of the apples of your cheeks, with this color to bring out that pink. Now that I have all this done, I'm going to go in underneath my eyes with the sunset colors. To do so, I will be going in with the Sigma brush. Don't know what number this is. I've used it so much that I've scraped off the number. Anyways, it's a small pointed brush made for usually doing eyeliner or else even your brows. It's a slanted angle brush. I'm going to be adding the third pinkish orange color, and that's going to be the outer bottom lash line. I'll just drag it out. And I'll pack it on because I want that under eye color to be really bright and vibrant. And I'll drag that color almost into the middle under my eyes. The second color I go in with is the orange right here. I'll do that in the middle under my eyes, and then the inner corner I'll do yellow. Using the same brush. And I try to blend it in with that last color I just did, which is that pinkish orange color. I'll try to blend them in together. And now then the inner corner, I'm going to go with the yellow. So I'm going to go with the inner yellow right here, which almost looks white on camera, honestly. But I'm going to use that to line the inner corner of my eyes. Now that I have that, the next step I'm going to do is add highlighter. My highlighter brushes that I use are these 3 brushes from Jaclyn Hill. I use the big fluffy brush, this one right here, to put highlighter above my cheekbones, the JH09. I'm going to go in with the That Glow Kit by Anastasia Beverly Hills. As you can see, I use this palette a lot. I'm going to go in with the color Bubbly right above the cheekbones. So using the same color Bubbly, I'm going to go in with the smaller pointed brush, which is the JH39 brush. And I'm going to use that on the inner corners of my eyes to make it a little brighter and a little sparklier. Almost like the sun. And using that same brush, I'm going to go with that same color again. And we're going to do a little dot on top of the nose area where you want the highlight. And then I'm going to use it to highlight the arc of my nose. We'll blend that out afterwards. And the next brush I use is the JH42 brush, which is a small flat brush, and I usually use that to highlight underneath my brow bone. This also helps blend out that pink. What I usually do afterwards is use a giant fluffy brush, which I actually do not know what number this is of Jaclyn Hill's, but it's a giant fluffy brush. You can't miss it. I usually go in with a little bit of the Huda setting powder in Blondie, try to like blend everything together. Now that I have all that done, I am going to add lashes. So the lash I'm going to be using is SoCal Beauty Bays by Ocean Beach. I'm going to do it off camera. So now that I have my lashes on from SoCal Beauty Babes, I'm going to add some mascara. I'm using the Voluminous Lash Paradise. I literally got it at Target. I don't know which brand it is exactly from, but it's a giant pink bottle, and I've been told that it is comparable to Too Faced Better Than Sex mascara. I'm gonna go in and do my lips. For my lips, I'm gonna be using NYX Suede Matte Lipstick in the color Brunch Me. And then I'm gonna also use the NYX SPL 828 Ever as the lip liner. So once I'm happy with the lip liner, I'm going to go in with the lipstick. So I didn't do this in my pictures, but if you do want a little bit of a gloss, I recommend this is the Coco K Kylie Jenner lip gloss. But because I do like the more matted look, I'm going to keep just with the matted look currently. So now that I'm happy with the makeup look, I'm going to be right back to the final results. So this is the final makeup look. I hope you guys like it. It is a combination of all the Easter colors I could possibly think of, from the purples, pinks, and blues, all the way down to the sunset colors under my eyes. And I added the natural neutral color lips to complement the eyes because the eyes are so bold. So I hope you guys like it, and if you do recreate my look, I hope you guys tag me on Instagram. It is at TotallyTiffanyMN. If you haven't done so already, please like and comment and subscribe.